an institution by institution basis, but to submit student data to the Bureau of Labor Statistics to get some quarterly earnings, to do some estimates to see the students that were enrolled, if their income met some of the guidelines to be eligible for some of the benefits. We had some challenges with the MOU and trying to share some of that information, but we've been still trying to work through that.
Well, Mark clearly has an assignment. He'll report back to us. We're getting close to out of time. I don't know whether you have any, last thoughts you wanted to share. Angela, I don't know.
My final thoughts are probably, again, as I kind of mentioned in some of my opening remarks, is really thinking about how you kind of move this work forward and trying to help support organizations or colleges who want to take this work on. I think that's the biggest challenge is keeping some of the momentum going. We had a lot of support through the grant and the technical assistance through the grant, and it was able to help us push some of our state agencies to do some work a little bit differently. The momentum has died a little bit in some of the state agencies. They got a little bit busy, as they told me, with some of the ACA stuff. And so they kind of refocused some of their work around ACA and couldn't lend some of the support that we had. But I think it's about helping schools think about why this is important, if you have the relationship with some of the colleges, why it's important and why it helps students. And then I think to that end, helping schools then, because it is a cultural shift on the campus, is helping them understand how they integrate it in such a way that it becomes a real seamless process for students. And not, if it is financial aid, that it's really easy in the financial aid office to get bogged down with so many federal changes. I'm sorry, Mark. But it is really hard. I mean, you get bogged down with so many different changes and things that you're trying to work through in the financial aid. You got to keep this work really at the top of your priorities and objectives.
Well, this has been really helpful. It's a great exchange, and we'll take a lot back to the department to discuss. A couple of things I forgot to mention. Angela mentioned acceleration of students and student success, and the sooner students are able to complete, and the less debt they'll accrue, and their opportunity costs are lower. So we do have some experimental sites that are going on in financial aid. One is for competency-based education, and another is prior learning assessment, so that students get experience to get credit for that. Another thing came to mind, and it was the job-driven training and the Upskill America initiatives that the White House, of the 36 million low-skilled adults at the lowest levels of literacy, numeracy, and problem-solving skills, 2/3 are working, so 23 million or so are employed. And so it got me thinking about the employer contribution to this since they're working. And we've heard from many major employers, there's an interest in being able to create career pathways internally for students while they're working to go to school and to upskill and to think about it. And one of the national activities we have going in OCTAE is on stackable credentials, so that it sort of is a credentialing system for working adults that mirrors the busy lives of our community college students, so that they can work, go to school, get a credential, and then not have to start all over again when they're ready to move up the ladder. So again, it got me to thinking about the employer component of this, since they tend to outspend the federal government by several factors in both formal and informal professional development investments. And then finally, work-based learning related to that upskilling. We're working with the Department of Labor on the Registered Apprenticeship College Consortium. And so many of the students are in the apprenticeship model and earning a pretty good wage while they're going to school. The goal is so that as they are progressing in their apprenticeship, they would also be progressing academically and be able to get an academic credential at the same time that they get their apprenticeship credential. There are other variations on that with paid internships and other kinds of opportunities. So again, this discussion got me to thinking about that initiative as well. So thank you for the discussion, again to CLASP as well for the work that you're doing in this area.
Last word.
I think that we really need to reconceptualize how we view financial aid and normalize this notion of providing comprehensive student supports. And so financial aid is just one, federal and state financial aid is just one part of the picture here, but that it is normal and regular and a good thing that low-income students have access to SNAP, have access to child care funding, have access to good health insurance, to be able to help them achieve their dreams of completing and getting a good job in the long run, and not needing any of these supports anymore. But that while you're in college, you do have access to these, and they do help you. And it's important. We may be talking about a small number of people, but we're talking about a population that has aspirations and goals that are no different than a traditional 18-year-old who wants to go to college and get a good job eventually. And so we need to just really think much more broadly about how we do support those students.
Well, and obviously, if we're talking about a small number of students who are actually going to college, there's probably a whole bunch more who could be.
Good point.
So, anyway, thank you to CLASP and to all of you for giving some time up on your busy days. Thank you.